had a coach friend share with me that she desperately needs to get her crap together. She said it's something like that with her clients because she wants to give them a good experience and she would love to feel confident and prepared when she comes to the calls. What she's feeling now is panic because at the last second, she can't find the link. She doesn't know what they talked about last time. She forgot to send the welcome note. She doesn't know what number session they're on. Or she's scrolling down the Google Doc or Notes app trying to find the right notes. So can you relate to any of this? If so, today I'm going to share a simple process that I've used for over 3 years and the tool I use to keep all my clients' information organized. Are you ready to work less, feel more organized and productive, streamline repetitive tasks, and implement systems that allow your coaching business to run smoothly even without you? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast, your go-to source for practical tips and solutions. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, professional organizer, certified life coach, simplifying expert, and most of all, down-to-earth fellow coach just like you. No matter if you think you're missing the organizing gene, have ADHD, or just love anything organizing, I'm here to help you become an organized coach with a business that works for you. Pull up a seat and let's get started. I've outlined 6 steps or 6 parts of how and what I do when I have a client. But before I do that, I just want to talk about the tool that I use. I call it the Client Tracker. It is now available for you to purchase. And it's a simple, effective way to organize and track your clients and have all the information in one place to find anything you need easily, all without having to learn something new. Not a new software, a new app, a new tool, or set anything up. I have talked to a lot of coaches recently, my own clients, but then also friends and other coaches. Most of us are getting some sort of certification or taking a course or learning how to be a better coach or figuring out all the details of our niche and offer. Many feel overwhelmed with all the stuff that they have to learn, and maybe you can relate to that. And you don't need to invest or learn another new software or a complicated CRM system. I don't think of the Client Tracker officially as a CRM, but it is a simple solution for you to use to keep all the information you need about your clients, regarding your clients, in one place. And I teach you how to access it with one click, and then you can see all of your clients on one page, and you can get any information you need super quick. With the Client Tracker included, you get a mini course, which is 3 short videos, and I show you how to use it, and I show you my simple method. Like, I actually have a video screen share of how exactly I go through having a new client and what I do and where it goes and everything. So I give you several Google Sheet tricks that you'll be able to use not only with your Client Tracker, but also if you have my idea tracker, you'll use those with that and with any other thing you use. I love seeing people use the computer, like screen sharing and actually seeing what they do because I think it's so fun. I learn these little things that I haven't learned before. So you're going to see that in the videos. Right now, the Client Tracker is only $49. The link's in the show notes. The other thing I'm going to do, if you're listening to this live, is I'm going to have a workshop. Have you ever bought anything and then it sits on your computer and you never open it? I am going to have a workshop where we sit and get this ready for you to use and practice. I'll be right there with you. You can share your screen. I'll be sharing my screen and we're going to walk through it so you are ready to use it. Rather than just purchasing it and leaving it, you are going to be able to use it. So that is available. The link's in the show notes. And as I share with you my steps and the things that I do, I will be referring to it or talking about it. So I wanted to share that first. So let's get started. I think of myself as medium techie. I don't really think I'm cutting edge. I don't want to try all the tech tools. I'm very, what is the word? Choosy about what I want to put my time toward. I would consider myself a little bit minimalistic. Like, I want things to be super simple. But sometimes when I notice that I do things differently than others, especially others that are tech savvy, I find myself hiding. Like, I don't want to then talk about what I do because in terms of their tech savviness, I feel like maybe people will view me as a little more of a dinosaur. Now, I'm being very vulnerable and sharing this. This happened a week or two ago, and I noticed myself. I wanted to hide. I didn't want to talk about the client tracker because maybe someone would look at it and judge me that it's not tech savvy enough. Do you ever feel like that? And maybe it's even where you're at in your business. Like, you don't want to talk about it, or you kind of hide because other people look like they're further along, or that they have more automation set up, or that they're more organized than you. So whatever way you find yourself, maybe hiding, maybe feeling a little bit of shame, I just want you to know that's how I felt. What did I do? First, I just sat and watched my brain. I didn't try to rush out of it and try to feel better because I noticed, in this case, I knew it was just a thought. I knew that I was believing this or thinking it because I was comparing myself to someone else. So I just watched it. I didn't sleep that well for like a night or two. And then I started considering what else could be true. Could it be true that people are in the same situation, that people need a solution, that there's coaches out there who, as my friend said, just need to get it together. They don't want to learn anything new. They just need to have their client information organized in the most simple way, be able to access it so that they feel like they're giving their client an amazing experience. And so I started filling my mind with those options, and then I got coached on it. It was so good. Thank you, Anthea, for coaching me on this. And then I went out to find evidence that there are people that need to do it in this way that I do it, using the client tracker. They need a solution that is simple, that works because I've been using it for 3 or 4 years. I need to find and see the evidence. And it was so clear to me all week as I talked to different clients, that's where they're at. They just need a simple solution without having to learn a bunch of tech stuff or set up new things. So then I had to be brave in order to help those who need it. So that's kind of how I handled it. And I just wanted to share that up front because maybe you're feeling that. Maybe you are feeling a little embarrassed. I know as a professional organizer, and especially through coaching, that so much shame builds up because you can't get it together, or you can't figure it out, or you can't prioritize and make the progress that you want to. So I just want to point that out, that this is a way that I've felt that. And that's what I've noticed all week. Many of my clients and fellow coaches that I've talked to recently have all the things. They're getting a certification. And this was me too. I was getting an email certification. They've bought a course. This was me. I was launching my podcast and I was going through a podcast course. So maybe that's you. Maybe you're building a landing page or a website or learning Facebook ads or bought an Instagram or video course or whatever it is. Maybe you're in a coaching program that has homework and you're trying to keep up with the homework. Maybe you're just disorganized in general, especially digital. You haven't prioritized that on your list and it's just a little bit out of control. Maybe you're developing your own offer right now. You're niching down and testing things and working through that and figuring out who your ideal client is. And maybe because of that, you have lots of different price points and programs that you're taking clients through, or coaching time periods, lengths of time. Maybe, like I had mentioned, you're tweaking your niche and trying to get your messaging down, and you really just don't want to learn another new thing, but you do want to have it together when it comes to managing your clients. You don't want to forget things. You want to be able to find their notes, and you want to know if you sent them a card. One of my friends shared, I sent the same client 2 gifts. She called me and said, you sent me the same gift. So you don't want to look like you're a hot mess. And you want to jot down when you sent it. You want to remember that you sent it. And the client tracker, I know, is what will be the solution for you if this is the case for you. It's so simple, yet it's so effective. I think there are 3 things that you have to know about your clients. I like to be able to see. The first thing is dates. when your client started, what session you're on, when it's ending, and then notes. What are their goals? What did you talk about in the last session? What were they supposed to do in the meantime? What are you focusing on this next week or this month? So the dates, the notes, and then their experience. What do you want their experience to be like? And what creates that experience? Is it getting a personal note? Is it checking in with them? Is it sending a gift at the beginning, a welcome package, or halfway through, or a celebration? What is their experience? So if you can see those three things, you can see the dates, you can see your notes, and you can see if you are following through and creating this experience for them, you can have confidence that you're doing a good job. You can feel confident, you can know and be prepared for your sessions. So those are the three things that the client tracker helps me see and helps me keep track of. So I mentioned at the beginning, there's 6 parts, I think, of how I broke down a new client when I work with a new client. So the first thing that happens is they decide to work with me. And the first thing I do is send an email. So that's number 1. I send an email. I have this email written in my drafts in my email, and it has 4 parts. The first part's a payment link. The second part is a Voxer invite. They have access to me via Voxer, and so I have an invite in there for them to join me on Voxer. The third part is the Zoom calls. I schedule all the calls on Zoom and then send them the date we start in the link. And then the intake form, a link to the intake form. Now, you also might have a link to the contract if you have a contract that they sign. The next step is they make payment. This isn't one of my steps, but their steps are they make payment and they fill in the intake form. The intake form automatically goes into my client tracker. So step 1, I send an email. Step 2 is automated. The intake form goes into my client tracker. Step 3, I go into my client tracker where the form fills out. I have it set up in order, and I talk about this in the video. It's simple. It just is sounding complicated as I explain it. But the next step is I just copy and paste. That's 2 clicks. Their name, address, and phone number into my client page because I personally want to see all my clients on one page. Then I look at the dates. I see when they're starting, and if there's a date that I need to add as a reminder on my calendar to send a note, to send their midterm gift, to check in with them, I put all those reminders on my calendar. And then the 5th part is when we have our calls, I take notes. So this is how I do it. I haven't automated or used AI to take notes yet, but I open an email. I open my client tracker before my session. I look at my client tracker. I see what we talked about last time. I notice what session we're on. I start taking notes on our call in my email. When we get off the call, if I have to edit anything in the email, I'll do that. I'll copy it and paste it into my client tracker, and then I'll send the email to them. Now, some of you might not send emails to your clients, and that's fine. My clients love it. And we do a lot of action coaching because we're talking about organizing, prioritizing. So they have a lot of action items that we talk about. But even if you don't send an email, I want to know because I can't seem to remember much. I want to know what we talked about. So I would want to have notes in there about what we talked about, even what we're going to talk about next time. That is number 5. I take notes and then I send that to them. And then the final part, so I'll be taking notes throughout my time with my client. And then at the end, I will collect a testimonial. And I can even collect a testimonial before that, but I have a form that's already made that feeds into my client tracker. And it's a form that they can fill out and all the information goes in there. And so I have a testimonial page in my client tracker where I can go to at any time and get written testimonials. And there's a place with a link with a video. Those are the 6 parts. So I send an email. The intake form goes automatically into the client tracker. Once they make payment, I just get their main information onto the client tab because I personally want to see it, all my clients in one spot. And then I add dates on my calendar if I need to remember anything or if there's anything specific. Now the Zoom calendar's already added the dates to my calendar, but if there's something like sending them a gift or writing a note or checking in with them, I want that to be, I need to have reminders for those. The 5th one is I take notes in an email and then I send that to them and paste it into the client tracker. super simple. And then the final thing is collecting the testimonial. So that's just an example of how a client travels through my business. That's how it could be for your business. And then using the client tracker has been so amazing. And there's a couple things that I want to talk about. First, I have a lot of it streamlined. I saved the draft of my email. I can just cut and paste that. I have the forms done. They both feed into the client tracker, so that's automated or streamlined. And I've decided what I send. I'm not a big gift giver, so it was hard for me to come up with ideas. Plus, I don't want to give clutter. So I have to give something perishable or useful if I'm going to send a gift. I cannot give things that would be more clutter for the person. And that's because I'm a professional organizer. So a lot of it is streamlined. A little bit of it is automated. But for me right now, there could be more things that I could automate, right? But this is the point where I want you to walk away with. Right now may not be the time to make big changes. You might just need a system like the client tracker to keep track of it, to feel organized and in control. And then there might be a time later when you really dig in and you're going to automate stuff and learn some new programs and that kind of thing. But for me personally, like I mentioned too, the last 3 months I've been working on an email certification. I've launched the podcast, and I don't want to learn anything else that's new right now. And this has worked so well for me. There are so many things I love about the client tracker. It helps me keep track of, like I mentioned, the dates, their notes, their experience. And then it helps me stay organized. It helps me plan. It helps me give my clients a good experience. So if this is you, if you are struggling, if you feel disorganized, get the client tracker and be part of my workshop in August. We are going to workshop. We are going to get it done. We're going to set it up, customize it for you. You're going to get your clients in there and have it set up on your computer so you can access it in one click. I'll show you how to do all of it. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the episode. Please share this episode with your coaching bestie and tag me on Instagram at Tracy Hoth. And of course, I would be so grateful if you could subscribe and leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. It's the #1 way you can thank me. To thank you, go grab the file naming formula cheat sheet and watch the workshop replay, 3 secrets to organize your digital files. Both are linked in the show notes. Until next time, have a beautiful week.